Today I'm talking to Dan and Josh from Uni at 6 about the football teams they support. When did you start supporting Arsenal?
I first started supporting Arsenal when, I guess, like the most kind of normal story, I guess, for most football fans, that their parents got them into the team. My dad took me to my first Arsenal game at Highbury when I was 6 months of age in a rucksack.
Probably illegal now.
Definitely illegal
at the
now.
time.
Probably he didn't care. He was like, I remember whenever my mum and dad talk about the story, my dad remembers it in a nice way. My mum remembers it as one of the most terrifying afternoons of her life, because he literally took me off. I was like in a, I don't know how you front, what's it called?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like one of those things.
No idea what they're
So I'm fake, my arms just dangling
Baby
around,
carry.
and he's just walking off. And apparently my dad came back and said that he wanted to take me to every game, because the game that we actually played ended up winning like 5-0 or something, and mum was like,
lucky omen.
yeah, he was, and my mum was like, he's never going to a game again so he can walk, and my dad was like, putain, c'est bon, going off in French. But yeah, my dad basically taking me to a game.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I grew up, and my dad always supported Man United, and then also you got to imagine, like when we were younger, it was the era of the Beckhams and the Giggs and the Scholes. So as a kid, I was watching football, just being like, those are the guys right there. That's who everyone wants to be. That's who everyone was looking up to. So I think like that helped me choose who. I loved the whole of that team. Peter Schmeichel,
Dennis Irwin,
all of that.
Stam, all that.
Yeah, huge fan from a young age.
Who's your favourite current player and why?
I mean, I know yours isn't Marouane Fellaini.
Oh yeah, it is actually. Mine's actually Januzaj at the moment.
Januzaj, yeah.
Just because he's young and it's like fresh. It's what Man United need.
He's a quality player.
It's not Van Persie at the moment either. Doesn't want to play for us anymore.
Well, I mean, Van Persie's just a bit fickle, isn't he? Fickle, isn't he? I don't know. I think for me, this is the first, like, for the past few seasons, it's been obvious choices. It's either been Van Persie when he was at Arsenal, or Santi Cazorla last year, or something like that. But
I'm sure you got to go for the Frenchman.
yeah, I think I'm going to go, surprisingly, I think I'm going for Laurent Koscielny. I think he has been, him and Per Mertesacker are defensive sort of stronghold this season. I think we've got the best Premier League defensive record. And yeah, I just think he's the kind of guy that, again, got a lot of stick when he came to Arsenal. Came from a League 2 side in France, and I think he's become, I'd say, probably one of the best centre backs in the Premier League, if not.
What's your favourite piece of memorabilia you have, if any?
I actually have I've got a Champions League ball that I went down to this Nike event a few years ago, and I got one of the Champions League balls that they were going to use, and it was sort of all loads of players went down to this event, so the ball had been kicked by like Van Persie and by Nani, and so that was a pretty special day. So yeah, I managed to nab one of the balls, and I took that home. We've used it playing five-a-side actually.
Yeah, it's sick.
And then I was like, it started to get a bit tatty, and I was like, I'm just going to keep this nice now.
We actually played in a 11-a-sides match for Umbro when they were the sponsors of the England team at Wembley, and I basically got the shirt that I played in. It was like the England shirt, the new England shirt at the time. Didn't wash it, played at Wembley Stadium, got it framed, so that was a pretty
nice. Mine's still got grass stain on it,
same.
so I didn't wash it. I just like keeping that grass stain on there.
What's been your best moment as a fan?
100% 99. I remember being so young watching that 99 final, and it's going to sound, I was pretty young at the time, but we were obviously losing, and I was like mad on football, and I always used to wear these certain pants when I played football, and they were like lucky pants. I couldn't play football without putting these pants on. So in 99 final we're losing, half time went up, changed into my lucky pants, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's the reason we won.
Well, you should take some sort of credit.
I personally would quite like some financial reward for that.
Yeah. Oi, Fergie, go on.
No, but yeah,
Title
I mean,
fund.
yeah, literally, United fan doesn't really get much better than that, does it?
No, incredible. I mean, I'm now trying to scan my brain back to probably the season of, I think it was 1998, the year we obviously won the double, but Tiny Adams scoring in the last game of the season, and it sort of just stance like that that they obviously made into a statue at Arsenal now. But I think that double, or probably if not, it would be the 2002 year when we were invincible.
2004. Yeah.
2004.
Beaten by who was it?
United at Old Trafford. But yeah, I think that, I mean, there was this one time, strangely enough, somebody told me on Twitter that Cesc Fabregas was following me on Twitter at the time when he was at Arsenal, and I remember like messaging him like, "Why are you following me?" Probably sounded quite threatening. And we went through the whole thing of banned football, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so I eventually ended up going to a game at Arsenal, and I remember being told that if Arsenal won, I could go into like, the players' lounge and meet with the players, blah, blah, blah. And then, so when we beat Chelsea 3-1, I was just like, oh my god, I'm going to meet all the Arsenal players. So that was, in terms of a memory with Arsenal, that was a pretty up there night, along with...
I remember seeing pictures from that and being like, you must be having fun.
Yeah, buzzing.
What about your worst moment? Or lowest?
Lowest moment actually was spent with this man to my right. We were in Sydney, Australia.
Oh yeah, that might have been one of my best moments.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk about that? Is this the 8-2
It's
game?
8-2. We were in Australia, and
I remember I was running back and forward from we were all in a bar next door. Remember the teapot bar that everyone was in?
Well, no, because this is what happened. I had this thing where like I don't like necessarily watching football games with people that support the other team.
No, I don't like that.
So I just watched.
I remember we did that a few years before in Leeds, and I think we beat you 4-0 or something. And I remember you went to FA Cup.
Probably. He loves it, didn't he? But yeah, I was in the hotel bar and they're in a bar at the road, and I remember we were like texting back and forth, and obviously when I think at half time it was like 3-1, and I was like, no, we're still in the game, sort of thing. Blah blah blah.
We ended up going to a casino, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was like. I was playing blackjack because at this point I'd given up in the game, so I'm up like $2,000 on the blackjack table, so I'm living the dream in the casino. But I have this guy just running up to me like 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 6-2, whatever, and I was just like.
I was literally watching the TV, looking at it, we'd score, and I just run over to John. 7-2.
But I just couldn't believe it. I was like, how are we getting beaten that badly? Like,
it was pretty good.
How?
It's a good match.
How can so yeah, that was probably one of my worst moments I can remember. That or watching Thierry Henry leave to Barcelona. That was pretty heartbreaking.
I think worst moment for me was probably after we'd sort of crawled back that season. Last game of the season, City were losing, we were winning. I remember exactly where it was. I was home roast dinner at home, and I was just like, that's it. At least that one's in the bag.
Yeah.
And then we all know what happened. And I remember I sat there for like a good hour, just like looking at TV. My mum was just like, you're right. I was literally just like, leave me.
Martin Tyler's words in Aguero just staying in your head forever.
And then actually the worst bit about that is the next season, every single advert you saw for the Premier League, Sky, whatever it was, like, oh, you should watch this. It's literally just, I was just like, for God's sake, it's come back to haunt me.